I think everyone slows down a bit at night, don't they? I'm not sure what it is when I'm writing. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say, really. My name is Ree, and I make very moody, chilled out electronic music. And when I was first asked to do this, I thought it definitely suited my style for sure. I don't know, there's something about at night when it feels more peaceful and you can kind of switch off.
Yo, Tbone, did you produce this?
Sounds good, right?
It's definitely a solitude thing. Especially, say, if it's nice outside, there's almost a bit of guilt involved because it's like, okay, maybe I should be embracing the sun. And for whatever reason, once it gets dark and everyone else is kind of chilling out, it's like, okay, yeah, now I can just be sort of happy alone and doing my thing. Yeah, there is some like mystery almost once it's dark. Like, I think it's also like an imagery thing. I enjoy art and films and things that are all sort of darker and have that kind of mood, because I think I'm always trying to capture that mood. It's like, when you're like, I love, say, the look of a city at night when you see all the lights twinkling. Unless it's like you can see the stars, and then you're also gonna get that mood, right? Us city folk, we forget that they're stars. And I suppose it resonates most with my personality. I like staying up late. I do enjoy being alone a lot of the time, and I can get all of that at nighttime. What I write about is often things to do with the night. Seeing someone at night, or night driving is a good example, driving at night. So I do touch on those themes a lot in the lyrics as well. Probably not really like daytime, party time music. Because I enjoy, smoking weed, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. So yeah, smoking weed is a big part of my process. It's weird, I can feel almost very unproductive, and then I have a little smoke and I instantly want to write. It then means that it slows the tempos down. So I could be up, at a higher BPM, have a little smoke, and I'm like, oh, let's just slow that down. It's that tempo that stoners like. And again, it's sort of like associated with, your day's done, you can relax, have a smoke. You can hear everything that's going on in the song. Yeah, nothing's really hidden. When I think about stuff that I like, often it is maybe quite minimal. And dark is always the running theme. I don't know if it's necessarily deliberate all the time when I write, but I find sometimes when I'm working on a song, there might be more involved in it, and then I sort of gradually refine it. Until you kind of think, yeah, this works and nothing's too hidden. It's interesting, I didn't really set out to write music like that. It just kind of came about that way. I was probably up until my early 20s, I was in a alt metal rock band kind of thing. And it was very different to what I make now, because at the time it was heavy. Obviously I was playing guitar and I was more like shouting, you know. I got to a point there where I thought, you know, I kind of want to stop shouting at people. I don't know, I wanted to start soothing people more, you know? It's like... getting over the angst and kind of just being like chilling out a little bit, you know? Because it definitely was a period in my life where I was a bit younger, trying to make sense of stuff, and you make sort of like angrier music. But there is something about being in a city where I feel more productive for some reason. I'm not sure if it's just being surrounded by so much. Not necessarily being involved in it all the time, but just having things going on around you. And I also like being able to like see things from my window. Being able to kind of be a part of things without having to get involved too much all the time. My last EP, there was a lot of neon going on. I'm holding a red light. There's a lot of red. You know, I don't know. I think it's sort of a romantic image to me. And for me, romance is very much associated with nighttime. I don't really feel it so much during the day. I got all these different connections, you know, with the darkness, minor keys. You know, it's all very romantic to me. And then with that kind of mood lighting, you know. It's probably a romantic verging on more like lusty than love. When I write, you know, I don't often sit down and think, right, I'm going to write about this tonight, you know. It's just sort of, it's almost like a therapy session. It's like all comes out and you look back at it and you're like, oh, okay, I see where that's... With keys, I'm always really drawn to Rhodes sounds and anything that's a bit sort of wobbly. And then I like adding some texture in there. I mean, it could be something really simple like a sound effect in Omnisphere where it's just sort of almost like wind but pitched, you know what I mean? And then I love vinyl crackle and stuff. That's been around for a long time, but I just think it adds something, you know? There's like almost like a warmth to it. Or rain, or just anything like that. And again, it's adding to this sort of romantic, solitary imagery that I'm going for. So, you know, sitting in a room with the rain on the window. Yeah, just trying to create. So if someone's in headphones, because I do a lot of the production in headphones. So if you can listen to it in headphones, I think you really get the full experience of what I was trying to do. Sounds will be lost to some degree. Like if you're listening in a car or whatever, you're not going to hear the little intricate things I've done. When I was working on Reverie, for example, my first album, I was living in a house share at that time and just really didn't have the freedom to always have speakers on. So I was just doing all my work in headphones. And I think from there, I just kept doing it. So like I'll check mixes, of course, in speakers, but I'm always aware of other people. There's something almost comforting about being in my headphones. I'm like, okay, no one can hear what I'm doing. I feel lost if I go out without headphones. Like, what do I do with myself? But you know, ever since I was a kid, I refused, I used to do classical piano lessons and I just refused to play anything that wasn't in a minor key. So it's just like, no, it's too happy. It has to be melancholy. Before I even knew what the word melancholy meant, I think I was wanting that. My mood seems to just get better and better as it gets later in the day. Coming to terms with being awake, and then you're kind of like, nighttime. I think I've been here on and off for maybe about 6 years in London. So I was in Brighton for a long time before that. Brighton was like the first place where I felt really at home in my life. But then once I moved to London, Brighton suddenly felt very small to me. And I was like, okay, London is where I feel like I belong and where I feel like a lot of people feel like that. Where I grew up in Canada was completely different. I grew up sort of in the middle of nowhere kind of thing in Canada, you know, very secluded part, which you'd think maybe would work for me, but I like sort of spending time on my own, but knowing everything is out there. There's so much going on. There's always somewhere near you can discover because it's so big. And I love that. And I also do quite like feeling anonymous, that I can go out and just, have your headphones on and just go for a walk, but still be in your own zone, you know, despite being surrounded by people. It's funny you say that about the lighting though, because it's like, you know that feeling like if you're at a club or somewhere and you're really enjoying the mood, it's dark in there, and then suddenly that light comes on because the night's over. Oh, that's the worst feeling. I think I almost feel like suddenly really vulnerable and like I'm being revealed. In the dark, you're sort of safe. I feel safe somehow. Don't look at me. Makeup's all over the place. It's like, A lot of interesting characters seem to come out at night as well. Yeah, no, the only thing that popped into my head when you mentioned Night Bus as well was Burial. Because I always bring up Burial, which is, you know, it's just a slight obsession I've had with his music and was a big part of why I got into electronic. But I think he captures nighttime so well. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, it's beautiful. You know, I want to be able to do that. Capturing a mood.
I would like to thank Ash Clivery, my partner in crime, who recorded, produced and sound designed this episode. And I'd also like to thank Ree. Her music is actually pretty new to me and I've been enjoying it ever since Ash said she'd be great for this show. You can find more of her stuff at re-music.com. And Ree is spelled R-H-I. Thanks for listening. And if you want to say thanks, then please give us a review, rate us, leave a comment, of course, subscribe. Or go to Tbone Productions. Maybe buy a little bit of Sounds Good Right merch, which is really, really nice. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.
Yo, Tbone, did you produce this?
Sounds good, right?